There's just something peaceful about waking up before everyone else when it's still quiet and the birds start singing in the morning. I've been wanting to get back to my 5 a.m. morning routine because it just builds momentum for the rest of my day. I've been out of my 5 a.m. routine for several months now due to some late night commitments, but I'm really craving and really excited to get back into my 5 a.m. mornings. To be able to get up at 5 a.m., I really need to be winding down by 8:30, 9 o'clock and actually trying to sleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. And this gives me enough hours of sleep for myself. In the morning, I love starting with my coffee and then going straight into my quiet time. After that, I go for a walk. Sometimes I go outside. Sometimes I just walk around the apartment. And I kind of use that as a warm up. I also pray during that time. And then I do my workout. I love getting my workout in before I start my workday because it just helps my motivation and it just helps my productivity because I've been able to do so much before I even start work. For my workout right now, I just finished Insanity Max 30 Month 1. So I'm actually gonna be taking a deload week. So my workouts will be about 50 to 60% capacity. The purpose is to just keep my body moving a little bit without stressing it so that I can stretch and roll because my muscles are warmed up. So that's my plan for this morning, and then I'll get into some work and some other things. So it's time for some spring cleaning. I cleaned up our patio here a couple weeks ago, but we had another rainstorm come through, which was a bit surprising because we don't normally get that in April. But I want to get this swept up because I like working out here sometimes in the morning before it gets too warm out. But like right beside the door over here, it's a little bit dirty, and that always gets in the apartment, and I don't want to track it in. So we're going to get this cleaned up today. And then this also needs some cleaning up. The landscapers came last week to clean up the bushes and stuff for the firefighters next door, and a bunch of those branches fell on our side. So I want to get that cleaned up and swept up as well. And then the windows also need some cleaning. As you can see, they're pretty dirty. I think I'll have to take the screens out to be able to clean it all, but hoping to get that done today as well.
Tomorrow feels like sunlight spilling through the blinds. I don't know if I'll reach it, maybe I won't mind. I keep returning, tracing steps I left behind, as if the past could teach me what I'd like to find.
Going through a lot of really heavy things at church right now, and I just wanted to bring you guys into that and share a little bit of my heart with you. We've had, over the last 1.5 months, we've had a lot of diagnoses and things like that with different people, some death and some other things going on. There's a 2.5-year-old who has leukemia. She's in remission now, but it's like a 2-year process for them, and they've just started, I think, stage 2 of 4 or 5. It's crazy what they as a family have already had to go through. And the little girl, her name's Anna, she's had so many surgeries already, and just all the chemo, and every time I see her at church, she has a smile on her face. It's true that when one member of the body suffers, all of the body suffers, and it's just been a really heavy 1.5 months, pretty much something going on every week or every other week. So yeah, I've been reading through the Psalms right now, just because the psalmists always talk about their emotion, and it's so real and it's so raw and it's so relatable. And yet, as you go through the Psalms, they put their trust in the Lord, and it has been so encouraging to me to go through the Psalms again, and just with everything going on, to be reminded that, yeah, trials happen, things happen, but we can put our trust in the Lord. And Anna's parents, they've been such an encouragement to the body, just in their obedience and their faithfulness, and their testimony for the Lord through this crazy trial that they're going through. And when they're discouraged, the Lord gives them something to encourage them. He gives them peace as she goes into surgery, and they can praise him with songs in the night, even through this trial. So it's been really encouraging just to see them walk so faithfully through this trial. But it's really hard to see members of the body suffering and going through so many different things. So the Lord's not scared of your emotions. He already knows what's in your heart, and he also created emotions. But it's important to not let emotions rule us as we go through our life. Which is why I love the Psalms so much, because they share it's like they're sharing their emotions with the Lord, but they come back to who God is and their trust in the Lord, and that God is faithful and trustworthy. Psalm 28, verse 7, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. In him my heart trusts, and I am helped. My heart exults, and with my song I give thanks to him." We have a ladies missionary conference coming up in a couple of weeks for all the sister churches in the Bay Area, and I'm on the committee for that. So I'm actually going to be leading the music for this day. The conference is going to go from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we'll have a couple sessions of music, and I need to pick music from the anthem songs, hymnal, so that our accompanists can practice. Our theme verse this year is Psalm 90, verse 17. Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands upon us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. So I want to choose some songs that kind of relate to that theme of the Lord establishing the work of our hands. And then tomorrow, Stephen and I are going with Danny and Kyla to go hiking at Pinnacles and National Park. We're actually going to be heading over to Danny and Kyla's tonight, so I want to pack for that today. And I also want to do some baking for that, because whenever we would go hiking as a family, my mom would always bring something like muffins or something like that to just have as a bit of a snack after. So I think we're going to go for brunch after our hike, but I would love some snacks for along the way. So we'll probably pack some protein bars, some apples, which are really easy to bring, and then also some muffins for everybody. We will actually be leaving Danny and Kyla's place at, I think they were saying around 5:30 in the morning. We want to get there pretty early because parking fills up really, really fast there. So as far as I know, it's kind of desert-like, so I'm definitely going to want sunscreen and a hat. I know there's a lot of elevation gain, so it's going to be a bit of a hike. Good morning, happy Sunday. I decided to sleep in this morning just because we had a really late night on Friday night. We got up at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday so that we wouldn't have to wait in line at Pinnacles to get in, but it was just so gorgeous there. Psalm 95 verse 4 and 5. In his hand are the depths of the earth. The heights of the mountain are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. I kept thinking about God's beautiful creation yesterday as we were hiking and just how God spoke the world into being. And being in nature like that always makes me worship Jesus as our creator. It was just so awe-inspiring. We also saw 3 California condors, which was pretty amazing. There's one that was actually sitting in a tree not super far off the trail, so we were able to see him pretty close, which was really cool. I think there's about 600 California condors now. That's amazing compared to 22 in 1987, but we saw 3 yesterday, which was incredible because it's really rare to actually see them. This evening, we're going to Mountain View for a dinner. It's actually a church dinner for ministry leaders in the church, and Stephen leads the tech and AV team. So we are going for dinner there. The elders typically recap the year and then kind of give the ministry leaders what their plan is for like the next year, as in like short term and then midterm and long term, so that the ministry leaders can also just have that vision for where to go and how to lead their teams a little better.
Jesus was reclining at table, and of course back then the custom was a low-lying table. People would sit with their body facing that table and their feet extended behind them. And so here's this woman coming up behind Jesus to anoint his feet with her tears.
Assignments that the Lord has given to us and a vision that God has given to us, and nothing would be possible without the Lord being in our midst. It was the motivation, and we see the enthusiasm of the people, and we see the unity among the people in doing the work. So these verses kind of summarize the elders' heart for the immediate work that lay ahead of us.
As hard as it's been to wake up at 5 a.m., I really love the quietness of the early morning and hearing the birds start chirping and seeing the sunrise. It's always so beautiful and calm and quiet. I ended up sleeping in a little bit this morning, about an hour, so I got up at 6 instead of 5 because the dinner last night went pretty late, and we were in Mountain View. So we were actually just down the street from Google headquarters, like literally not very far from Google. So that was pretty cool because I hadn't seen Google yet, but The elders talked a lot last night about their future vision for our church and where they see the Lord opening doors. And it's actually been really cool to see as they reviewed the year and just different outreaches and things that have happened. It was really cool to see where the Lord has been opening those doors and just different outreaches that have had like large volume of kids coming through. So that was really cool to see just open doors in the Bay Area, because to be honest, there's not a ton of openness in general in California, especially in the Bay Area. A lot of people come here for tech and things like that, and there's not a ton of openness. And we've like noticed that right in the media area, like around our church, in the community around our church. So yeah, it's just been really cool to see open hearts in the Bay Area for the Lord. My own heart though has been more about missions and reaching people who don't necessarily have access to the training and the equipping that we have in English. Like in English, I've talked about this before. We have so many resources. We have so many things our churches provide that allow us to be taught in the Word and to be equipped. And there's so many people around the world that don't have access to things like that. So I was also processing all these things last night and just kind of what the elders were sharing. And so Stephen and I stayed up pretty late talking about it. And I talked about this recently too, but when I break down what I know God has called me to do, it's essentially to teach and to equip believers for the work of the ministry and in their walk with the Lord. And more specifically, my heart is for people who don't speak English. Ephesians 4:11 and 12 say that our spiritual gifts are to equip the body for the work of the ministry and then also for the building up of the body of Christ. I still don't really know what that looks like for the future for me, but for now, I keep pressing forward and creating videos for you guys so that you guys can be encouraged and equipped and taught in the Lord. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.